I do have to ask, do you have any stock tips for us?
Indexes.
Ah, okay.
That's all I do.
Okay.
You got rich dudes pissing in their pants right now. They're coming after you.
What aspects of the real subjects were you looking to capture with this cast?
I think you always start at a base level with drawing from like the real people. And obviously some of the characters that we have, there's a lot of footage of them. Paul Dano had a wealth of material online, you know, a roaring kid who would post 7 hours a week for a year. I actually think Paul went through it all, you know.
Really?
Yeah, the research that he did was amazing. And he would be at moments where he's like, hey, I saw that Keith said this in one of his posts. Could we get that in the movie somewhere? Or could I say this right now? And I'd be like, go for it. Every character, really. It's like Sebastian Stan turning up to do Vlad, and all those interviews, the Dave Portnoy interview, are verbatim. You know, the Dave Portnoy part of it is from the actual interview.
Right.
So he has to like figure out that cadence and bring some humanity and humor to it, but still to keep it integral to the character.
Did you consider casting the other side, the interviewer side of things, or was it just easier to put those real people in there?
I really wanted to have the real people in there because it's like, it reminds us, this is reality, this is what was happening, and we're not embellishing on it. You know, we had Lauren Shookup-Blum and Rebecca Angelo, Wall Street journalists. They're investigative reporters before they were screenwriters. So the tenacity with which they verified things and really did their homework made it so much more engaging. And I think also because we're dealing with some high-stakes players here, we have to get it right. You know, and so everything was like fact-checked and verified. And so much of the information they were getting, you know, was from like, you know, Reddit forums and TikToks and various things that were happening. It was a wealth of material there. And you know, they definitely touched on it in that, but then we actually even hired a crew in post that would just research and pull all the memes and all the TikToks, news footage, TV talk show hosts. So whenever we needed clarity in a situation in the film, we could go to these real events and use them and put them in the movie.
We've actually been short GameStop since 2014. The company is a complete disaster.
How obligated did you feel to understand all aspects of this from the financial side of things? Did you have a background in it?
I did not have a background on it. Ironically, I have an identical twin who is a hedge fund guy.
Oh.
So he's often tried to explain it to me at family conversations, and it's sort of gone over my head a little bit, but it was just the emotional part of this, the character part of this, that was fascinating to me, and really the social commentary of what was happening. This was during COVID, a very intense period. People were like all isolated, looking for ways to connect and communicate, and this became a forum that people connected with, and they could show their frustration for what was going on in the country, the lack of government assistance and the disparity of wealth that you're seeing flaunted on social media. And they could really stick it to like Wall Street as a community to be able to rally. And it was like a win-win because it's like, if it works, they make money and they also, you know, hold Wall Street accountable.
How much did we make today?
$5 million.
How much did we lose today?
$1 billion.
You made Pam and Tommy and I, Tonya, you know, they're set in the 80s and 90s. You have that distance of time. And this is, you know, a period piece of 2 years ago. Was that more difficult to nail because it's so close to people's memories?
No, I was actually really fascinated and excited to capture this very intense moment that we've all been through together. And COVID, I don't think we'll ever experience something like that again, hopefully. And how it's really been a profound change, I think, for society, and it's the way people prioritize and view the world, accountability that's going on, and this was sort of a lightning rod for all those things combining and being like focused, you know, towards the GameStop phenomena that happened. But it was all these other elements that drove that intensity. So to be able to have that opportunity to find a vehicle that can express all of what we've just been through was really exciting to me.
Did it give you any new perspective on the pandemic?
I feel like, you know, for us now as a society, everything is pre-pandemic and then after the pandemic. It's like, I feel like it's been such a seismic shift for people. When it was all happening, I felt this sense of outrage in the community, of wanting to be heard, and I wanted to capture that in the film, and hopefully people walk out and be invigorated by it and want to, you know, still have these conversations and hold people accountable.
That outrage comes through in so much of the dialogue, the vulgarity, which is just, you know, brought to an art form in this. Do you think people become more vulgar when their wallets are involved? Was that
It's not just that, but it's like, I mean, the way that people talk online, it's like, we did not want to shy away from that. And there is a fraction of that Wall Street community that can be incredibly vulgar, degenerates, as they like to call themselves. So it's like, in doing honor to all the aspects of our story, we knew we had to get everything right, and that was part of it. You kind of can't shy away from.
Roaring Kitty here. I'm gonna pick a stock, and that stock is GameStop.
I love this guy.
Your cast, for the most part, is either separate from one another because of how the story is going, or they're isolated because of the pandemic. How did you work with all of the cast in all of these different places to create that consistent, cohesive tone?
First of all, I was very lucky to be able to cast people that can work in this tone. Either actors I've wanted to work with, like Paul or Seth Rogen and Sebastian Stan and Nick Offerman I've worked with. It's like they can do this dance, the humor, the drama, keep it emotional. It was a joy almost. Each week I'd have a different actor. I'd have to create these scenes, and sometimes it wasn't always on the page. You know, there was a scene with Anthony Ramos, and he comes in, he meets the parents for the first time. We're going to do the scene with the parents. On the page, she says, be careful with this, it can be like a drug, the gambling online. And it's a very, like, you know, emotional, like, stressful moment, but I need to keep the tone, and so I just leaned over and I said, hey, Anthony, when she says that, just take the phone and sniff it like a line of coke.
So that was your suggestion.
Yeah,
I knew exactly where you were going with it. I love that scene.
And she slaps him, and he says something back, and immediately you get this sense of a family, like from that one quick moment, you know?
And so you've made a few life stories into films at this point. If they were to make a film about your life, is there a scene that you would want to see included that may, you know, give some insight on who you are as an artist?
Just the use of humor. That's been very much a part of my life, or like a way of dealing with drama or deflection, or particularly in family dynamics. Not my immediate family, but like growing up in Australia, that's something that would definitely be part of a scene. The one in Dumb Money that's like, you know, was closest to my heart was the family scene where Paul tells the family that he's up $22 million and he hasn't sold, and just like, how does that play out? Like, that's going to play out differently in any family.
Yes, and are you Paul or are you Pete Davidson in that?
I'd probably be Pete Davidson.
Yeah. The brother who doesn't understand finance. Yeah.